Perry Office Plus traces its roots to over 100 years ago in downtown Temple, Texas, where three men, A.D. Baggett, R.E. Miller, and W.H. Birdwell, opened a print shop called American Printing on January 10, 1920. Temple was rapidly becoming a center of commerce in Texas. With a $6,000 investment in new printing equipment, the trio opened their doors on Avenue A in downtown Temple in what was known as the Wilcox Building.
They started from nothing. You know, they said, hey, I think we need to start a printing company. So they acquired some machinery and they went out and got some customers and they started that. And so to me, that's, you know, certainly an entrepreneurial spirit.
American Printing quickly became a go-to resource not only for printing, but office supplies and furniture as well. In the late 1930s, Raymond Miller left American Printing and established his own print shop called Miller Printing Company. Post-war confidence soared through the next 2 decades, and American Printing remained a sought-after supplier of printing and office products to a growing economy in Central Texas. Miller Printing did not fare as well, and by the early 1960s, the business was up for sale. After 14 years in the printing industry, J.W. Perry had the desire to own his own print shop. He and his wife, Ruth, saw Miller Printing listed for sale in a Dallas newspaper and decided to make the move to Temple.
We drove up in the front of that building, and I thought, my goodness, we'll never be able to afford this. You know, it just looked really big, and they had office supplies in the front. And we just were young and just, I guess we just had blind faith. I don't know. We just did the best we could, and J.W. was a real friendly person, and he called on everybody in town, I think. He would go out with his shirt and tie on, and then he'd come back and get an apron and deliver everything. American Printing was A.D. Baggett, but we knew he was getting close to retirement, so a few years later we bought American Printing and moved our business over where they were. That was in 1966. They had a front, and they sold a lot more gifts and that sort of thing back then too. We started adding a lot more furniture. We started pushing that. He just pushed buying locally as much as he could.
Dividing the business in 1983 into two corporations and moving American Printing into a new space allowed the Perrys to distinguish the supply and furniture side with a new moniker.
We kept the office products and office furniture in the main building. We called it Perry Office Products. In 1988, we sold American Printing to Jody Donaldson. He was in charge of the printing when we separated him, so he was the logical one, and he wanted to buy American Printing.
With their focus now solely on Perry Office Products, J.W. and Ruth continued to grow the company into the 1990s. History almost seemed to repeat itself when a Temple couple approached them about acquiring their business.
Well, Harry, I knew him. He was in, I'm not sure if elementary or middle school with my daughter, my younger daughter, Janet. And they were friends and getting into mischief all the time.
I did. I knew the Perrys forever. Deb and I sat down and said, you know, maybe we should try to figure out what to do to get back to Temple since it's kind of home for us. We thought we might as well see if we can figure out how to make it work. And so I came and met with JW. I called and he said, sure, come talk to me. About a year later, we signed papers and made that work.
But it kind of made sense. We talked to our CPA and he said, go for it.
It was scary because we knew nothing about selling office supplies. We knew nothing about selling furniture, so we had a big learning curve.
I kept saying, you know, JW and Ruth have done a great job building this business. As long as we don't mess it up, it's going to be just fine. And that was kind of our goal was,
don't mess
let's
it
just
up.
not mess it up because it's working just fine.
It's awesome the way they've done, I think. It just makes me feel real proud to see all those Perry trucks around town. He wanted to keep the name, and that suited us, even though a lot of times people thought he was our son. But we would have been proud to claim him anyway.
In the late 90s, the company began operating as Perry Office Plus.
And it's much more relevant because we're so much more than just office products. It encompasses like janitorial products, promotional products, break room, furniture, just the whole breadth of products that we offer.
By the early 2000s, the company was busting at the seams and spread across multiple warehouses and office spaces in downtown Temple.
As a kid growing up, everybody went to the Coke building every year, whether it was a church group or Boy Scouts or whatever it was. Everybody got a tour of the Coke building. And we went up there, met with the contractor, met with the realtor, and walked the building. I guess it was about, August 2005? The summer of 2005. We were able to consolidate everybody into that facility. And so it's a 57,000 square foot building that has worked out better than I would have ever imagined. So it's a great building for us. We just continue to get bigger and bigger each year. We go into new areas, and we're shipping into 25 different states at this time, in addition to our normal trade territory that takes us from Austin to Waco to College Station to the Gatesville, Hamilton area. So we continue to grow as a company, both internally and externally.
But we've learned through the years that you hire good people and you take care of your people and you let them do their jobs.
Yeah, I think certainly the good Lord above, for some reason, decided to put us in the office products and furniture business. I don't know. It's kind of like divine intervention. I think the community's embraced us. We couldn't thank the community, and when I say community, I'm talking Central Texas, enough. It's been a tremendous life that we've been given because of the fortitude of this community saying, we're going to support local business.
Perry Office Plus commemorated its 100th anniversary on January 10, 2020, with a special event in downtown Temple, just blocks from American Printing's original location, celebrating the company's present-day success and honoring both the hard work of the Perrys and the spirit of their founders. From a humble print shop in a small Texas railroad town to one of the largest independent office products and furniture dealers in the state, Perry Office Plus continues into the next century with a heart for old-fashioned values and an eye on the future.